the moment? Is this the moment in time to talk about that?
No,
I mean, absolutely. Right? Is this the moment in time? Like we're talking about the work that we need to do to deal with the issues we have. We have 11 children shot today. This is not about stop and frisk. This is not about that right now. They're doing all these things and on putting themselves on social media and then getting fired up and engaged and then come out here and shoot. Small beefs. Small beefs on social media. You said something wrong. You looked at me wrong. And now we're having young people out here taking it in their hands and putting guns in their hands and killing people. Yesterday we had a gun with a trigger on it, mechanism on it.
8 people have been shot at a SEPTA bus stop in Philadelphia's Burholm neighborhood.
I never ever thought that anyone would shoot me walking to school or kill me at the doorstep of a school, or let alone getting on a bus 2 blocks down. So those parents and those children, yeah, it's very traumatic. And I know the school district and Dr. Wallington will be deploying their teams to be able to deal with those issues as they always do. For the shooters, I mean, they come from their parents need to get engaged. We said this multiple times. I ask every parent today, go in those rooms and look under those tables and look under those closets and get those guns out of the house. Right? Because at the end of the day, many of these kids are coming from the same communities that they're shooting in, right? And they know who they are. And the community knows who they are. We can't do this by ourselves. Like we need the community, we need parents to get engaged and engage with what their young people are doing. They're looking at drill rock, they're looking at TV, they're fully automatic. I mean, able to fire multiple rounds in seconds. That's not acceptable.
Welcome to the brief.
Yes, sir.
I'm Chop.
I'm Zach.
Usually, we start the show out playing the intro, which is a dope intro. We talk about the chief and all that, and peace and all that. But the last few days in our city, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has been real crazy, hectic, sad. A lot of death, a lot of shooting, a lot of unsolved, crazy happenings. And as podcasts, we can always go off on tangents and wild out and all that, but we coming from our heart with this. And we want to talk about the violence in our city. Me and Zach got together like early in the week. We got together. We said, yo, we got to do this right. We got to do it the way that how our personal conversations be amongst us two and amongst our other friends. So that's what we're going to do tonight, right?
That's right. That's right.
What's your, when you first heard, we going back to sometime last week, and you first heard about the shootings on the bus. So you heard about the execution murder in the park. You heard about the elderly man that was shot in his car. Then you hear about the situation that involves my alma mater, Northeast High School. What was your mind state when you first heard this?
Instantly, I went back to when I was a teenager. When I was a young child, coming up in the streets of Philly, you know, going back to parties, outings, mixtures, whatever, thinking how safe it felt back then.
And it wasn't safe.
Safer.
But it was safer.
It was safer. In comparison to now, life was good.
Right.
It's good now, but life was better then.
Right.
In my eyes, my opinion. You may think differently. But going to parties, going out with your friends, having a good time, going to the movies, it was a regular occurrence. This is what we did all the time. And when I saw that on TV and when I've been seeing the amount of violence that's been going on, especially in the last few weeks on the SEPTA buses and, you know, just outside, it hit me hard. It really, really hit me hard because I started thinking about my friends, my family, people that I associate with, you know, and thinking about how unsafe the city and this world have become. And in specific, we talking about Philly. But it really took me back to my childhood days and wow, we used to go to parties, man. The biggest thing, you can go out, you shout out Germantown, you shout out Brickyard, you shout out Southwest, whatever you're from, wherever your dwellings are at. And you might get into a little fight at it because you repping your hood. But very rarely was there gun violence. Very rarely did you hear about somebody losing their life over something as frivolous as words. It just didn't really happen that much back then, you know. So that's where it took me at, man. It really took me to that place, man. I felt sad. I really did.
And you know what? You said something that just hit me like a ton of bricks about back then it was safer compared to now. Our parents' generation said the same thing about, and they had gang wars and all that back then. But they say it was safer back then than our time. Now we're saying our time is safer than it is now. So it makes me think 20, 30 years from now, are they going to say that it was safer now than it will be then? Like what? How is? It's never going to be peace and kumbaya and all that. It's never going to be that. But now I'm thinking, like, what does the future hold? If we're saying our generation was safer, our parents saying their generation was safer, our parents saying their generation was safer, and what are the kids going to say about their generation? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and right now, this is like people joke around. They're not even joking, but people say Philly is like Gotham City.
Wow.
With cheesesteaks. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And when you first heard that, you're like, oh, that's great. But then you sit back and you not even just watch the news. Right. You just sit back and witness everything going on. You're like, it really is Gotham City, and we ain't got no Batman.
Whew. That's a lot of words right there.
And
I mean a lot.
That's the scary part because it's a lot. It's a lot of motivating people that's out here talking to the youth.
Shout out to them.
Whether it's in person, whether it's on social media, they're active.
Right.
They're coaching, they're mentoring, they're teaching, they're doing a lot of things, and trying to make a positive change. But only they can answer this. I can't say it, but I wonder if they get discouraged when they hear about situations that's happened in the last 4 or 5 days.
Right.
Like, damn. So what I'm doing, is it just in vain? Is it going in one ear out the other? Is it going over their head? Are they listening?
Right. We talking about the kids.
The kids, like, right. and the people that's out here trying to do the right thing. Well, I doubt they'll give up, but they probably like, damn, like what much more can I do?
Right.
And it's just a real. We're numb to violence in the city. I think across America and every inner city, and even in the suburbs now, we're numb to violence. And the only time that it really hit home is when you hit somebody that you know, or hit close to home, or you're like, damn, I ride past there all the time, or I know so and so dad, I know so and so mom, because we at their age, we know their parents.
Right.
And it's just like, it has to be more than just when it's personal. Like, you really gotta. As a city, I don't think it will ever happen, but as a city, we got to come together, because at this point, we can't even have block parties.
No, I think they restricted now.
They restricted, and
right.
You can't have like joints in the park no more. Like, get a permit, and that don't mean that's not even safe. Like, you get a permit for a family reunion in the park, and somebody knucklehead want to drive by and draw. Now your family is in harm's way. Like, what? So do you just party at your house?
Right.
Do you go get an event space? Right. That's not like, it's nowhere safe. And I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of people feel. Right. But tonight we're going to discuss some ways that we think that could be proactive in making things a little bit better.
Right, right. Now you said something that was that was very powerful in your statements. Great opening statement, if you ask me, what you were saying and the setup about what we're talking about. So, to be honest with you, I think all of this, in my opinion, starts at home. It really starts in the crib, not just the house, but the baby crib. Teaching your kids respect, trying to teach them as much honesty as you can. Teaching them the game, teaching them what the world is, and not shadowing them from nothing. Because And what you were saying, it's not safe anywhere. No matter where you go for any event, for any type of shindig, wedding, funeral, it's getting buck wild everywhere. Everywhere. So a lot of it comes down to the parenting. You know, as you can see, the police commissioner, the mayor Sherelle Parker, the superintendent for Philadelphia, which is Dr. Tony Washington, all of these people collectively getting on TV discussing their frustrations about what they see. And this is a new regime.
All right.
So, of course, we got Sherelle Parker in, but she needed support.
All right.
She needed support of the people. You know, and one thing that I want to say off the top of what you said was people. Biggest thing is legislation. They the ones who make the laws. Whatever you supposed to abide by, it comes from your legislation in your state. So when you going out and you're voting and you're just voting for the mayor, right? When you're just voting for the president, it don't just stop there.
Right.
You gotta vote for your state representatives as well.
Councilwomen,
judges.
The list goes on.
The list goes on. So in those things, you just gotta be involved. And then things like this, I would hope to believe in our lifetime that we see a change for the better and a positivity in a place where we grew up at. Because bottom line, y'all, we doing this because we love Philly. That's why we taking the time to literally come on here and talk about what we see, because it's a sad situation.
So we both agree that it starts at the crib, like you said, the actual baby crib. It starts at the house.
Right.
My question would be, a lot of people say parents, people who are in custodial roles, they know what their child is up to. I don't think they don't know everything. Like your parents didn't know everything you did.
It's impossible.
But should the parents be held accountable for their kids if they kill somebody?
Well, as we seen across the world in some cases, recent cases, there has been parents that have been arrested, tried, and convicted of crimes that their children committed. In most cases, from what I see, and it might be more that I don't know about, I don't know about everything, but in most of those cases, a lot of those parents knew that their child had some type of issue. They knew the Draco was in the house. They knew that they was out there buck wild and they wasn't going to school. They wasn't being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt wherever they're from, they felt like it was time to make them accountable. I mean, as a parent, I would say for my child and children that I should be held accountable for some of the things that they do. If I know willingly that I know, and I'm okay, and I'm accepting it, and I'm in front allowing it to happen continuously.
People are not going to admit that they know.
In most cases, no, they're not. They're not. They should, but they're not.
And is the laughing is to not get emotional about it, but or the situation at Northeast High School,
where you went,
graduated from, and that bus stop at Cotman and Rose's son in front of the Dunkin' Donuts. We would stand there every day for 4 years straight, throughout the school year, every day, and catch that bus home. So even though that was over 20 years ago, just the fact to know that me and my friends, we stood there collectively for 4 years straight in the same spot where I'm watching a video where 3 young boys hop out the joint and light the bus up. Waiting. And that's like, it's an airy feeling. Like it make my kneecap, my knees weak. It make my whole, it's like, whoa. Right. It's a dose of reality that we just don't want to experience. And as an adult, to smoke cigars on that same street, buy a pizza from the pizzeria on that same intersection, and also drive past there 2-3 times a week to go up to another cigar lounge further up in the Northeast. Right. Who says that can't happen when myself, you, or somebody that we know driving past and catch a headshot just driving by.
Mm.
You know, and that's the airy part where it's like you don't know. And a lot of people, like, it's a bar, it's a restaurant right there on the corner that is always parties and all that. This had nothing to do with that.
Nothing.
This had nothing to do with
This was broad daylight.
alibis. It had nothing to do with them. This is teenage kids in the middle of the day,
3 in the afternoon.
broad daylight.
Right.
You know, when growing up, you always thought that crime happened at night in the dark.
Great
Now,
point. Great point.
it don't matter.
Don't.
It's no time frame where it's okay to do crime. Not saying it ever was, but that's what it typically was back then.
Right.
Whether it's a stick up, you know, I can see a stick up, you're getting robbed, I can see that. You're getting beat up, I can see that. But shot multiple times by 3 different people
Right.
at the same time. Now I see some people, I don't promote living your life in fear. Some people say, go to work, come home, and that's it. I'd be like, whoa, that's how you live your life?
Impossible.
No.
Gotta have a life. Gotta be social.
No.
Right.
But I understand more now what they mean.
Right.
And you're not even safe in your house. You can catch a bullet in your house.
Yeah. People come running in. Rob you.
Not even that. They just bullets go through walls and windows.
Right.
So it's like I don't see it getting any. I want it to get better. I pray that it gets better. I hope that it gets better, but I don't see it getting any better because that's the natural. That's like I said earlier. Generations before us said it was safer. We saying it was safer. Well, they say this is safe. I can't see how they will,
Right.
but they probably will because what's going to happen in 30 years? Are they going to just walk up to people and just boom?
Well, they're doing that now.
Like, but I mean, like, not even just. I don't even want to put the scenarios out there.
Right. Be something that happens more often.
Yeah, like, and
right.
it's sad, man. And in the inner city, what we call home, where we braggadocious about the blocks we live in, the blocks we from, and it this can't be it because at this rate, we gonna make ourselves extinct.
Right. Shout out to where we came from, TM, Topahawken, and Morton. I'm sure you'll agree about this point. This is a point I'm about to make. It was more of a village. We had more neighbors involved in what we was doing. Now we had a block where it was some wild stuff that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a fact. It was a neighborhood block, so we seen some things. But the respect level was different. We had a conversation, and you spoke about how when the older folks walk by, if we was doing something wild, cussing and fussing, drinking, smoking, all of that went away out of the respect of that person walking by.
Whether you know them or not.
Whether you know them or not. If it was an older woman, she had groceries, hi, Mrs. Such and Such, would you like me to help you with your groceries? Because we cared. We knew they cared about us.
All right.
That whole community vibe, and it takes a neighborhood or community to raise a child has gone out the door because now you can't say anything to anybody. Parents, kids, doesn't matter.
No.
If you say something to them, it's going to be an issue. You don't even feel safe stepping in to keep that child safe.
So you keep a closed mouth, but that's not helping the situation.
It's not.
It's
not.
Is adding fuel to the situation because now they feel they run the neighborhood, they run the block, they run your household because you can't even be vocal about your household. Something simple as, think you might want to cut the grass, you ain't cut it in 4 months.
Right.
What?
Right.
That can end up in a homicide.
That's a problem.
So, I mean, that can go so many ways. That can go to the homeowners as opposed to you got a block full of homeowners, as you got a block full of people that rent.
Right.
rent or home owned, you want home owned, you want your space where you live at to be nice and upkept.
That's true.
Some people do not.
Right.
Some people, simple stuff. They may not cut the grass, may not sweep, may not put actual blinds up in the window, put a sheet up. They may not put their trash out. They may not. All the trash might be on the porch. All the trash might be right in front of the sidewalk. When it's windy, the trash is up and down the block. You know it's your trash. You know it just was crazy wind last night. Go
Right.
pick it up. Do they do that? No.
Right.
So when somebody might say, "Listen, I just out of concern of what the block look like you said, that can go left in so many different ways.
Right.
But it has to get better, man. Like this whole situation with the shootings on our buses in our city,
Nutty.
and innocent people getting killed,
Nutty.
kids getting killed, not injured,
Murdered.
killed, murdered
Yep.
is an everyday norm.
Right.
Tonight we might turn the news on, you might hear about another murder.
Right.
And we're so numb to it, like I said, that you're still going to sleep tonight, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Now,
Yeah.
if it was person that you knew, you're not getting no sleep.
Right. Because I can. One thing that the 89-year-old man that was shot and killed, driving down the street in his car.
He was sitting in the car.
Sitting in his car, minding his business. I think to myself, what could an 89-year-old man say or do to you for you to take his life? And the thing about it is, the sad is that I knew his son. I worked with his son. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is crazy. The other thing is, somebody that we both know, I read a post that said that was their uncle, Yvette.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So look how close that is.
Wow.
Knowing a son, knowing a friend of ours, which is, she stated was her uncle, and being on social media and expressing her sorrow in regards to that, to this 89-year-old gentleman who was brutally murdered sitting in his own vehicle, minding his own business.
And the extra sad part about that was he may have not said nothing to these people. He may not even have knew these people.
Could have been a simple, I'm a carjack this old head. Something crazy like that. And he, of course, whatever the situation is, I'm just going to say that it's one of them things where it's sad that it even happened. Any murder, any type of violence that deals with taking the life of somebody, robbing somebody, stealing from them, it's sad. But when you got murder that's involved, like these kids, like these adults, these older people, which back in the day we used to say what? What was the rule back in the day when we was coming up?
No women, no children, no old people.
Right.
Older people.
Out the door. Out the door. And like we were saying in the beginning, it starts at home. Be accountable for your kids. Make sure that you know where your children are. The people that they relative with, they hanging out with. Back in the day, we used to have to, hey, here's such and such mom. Here's the address. Here's a phone number. And then your mama or your pop, whoever's in your life, grandmother, aunt, uncle, whoever, would give a call at times to that house to make sure that you're still there.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your ass home at a certain time. If the door's supposed to be locked at 10, if I came to the crib 10:15, top lock on, I'm out of luck. Then I'm in trouble. And it might be a punishment after that. You got to make your kids accountable. Go in their room when they ain't home. Look through their things. They might not like it. They may be mad about it. But at least you know as a parent, you're trying to do something to be accountable for your kids.
Right.
You got to be accountable for your kids. That's just where it is, people, because if you don't have that accountability for what's going on in the life of your children and your own life, then things like this is going to continuously happen in the city of Philadelphia as well as across the planet. And we got to try to figure out a way to do it. Just like these people, Sherelle Parker and the rest of her regime is trying to figure it all out.
Well, do you I'm not laughing.
No, I know.
It's frustration, and that's the only way I can let the frustration out, is just let it out like that. I me personally, I say this all the time. Everybody that want to be tough, want to be out here with these semi-automatics and guns and all this, doing all this wild crime, don't even send them to jail.
Where you going at with this?
Send them overseas.
Woo!
Send them overseas.
To the
Put
real
them on the
war
front
zone.
line over there. And I'm not going to point out any part of the planet, but certain parts of the planet is warring, and they real warriors, man. They throwing rocks.
Real aggressive.
It's crazy. You don't want to go there and get locked up. Those places. Put them over there to fight for this country. If they come back alive, in one piece, you free. Because they're not going to want to go back to that. Now, if they mess up after that, lock them away. Because they're a menace to society, literally. Just like the movie. They're a menace to society. They do not belong in society. They do not belong amongst people. Because they're not acting like a person. They're acting like an animal. And they can't, no matter what you do, it's no rehabilitation for that type of person.
Right.
It's steps. You show them. Same way like when you're young and you mess up, oh, you're on punishment. You don't learn from that, it might be boarding school. You don't learn from that,
Jail.
I'm going to send you away.
Right. Maybe that.
You don't learn from that, jail.
Right. Right.
But some people, just like Monopoly, go straight, instead of go straight to go straight to jail.
Right.
Simple as that, because they're not, they just don't get it. Now, when you're young, you make mistakes.
We all did.
But mistake is not killing somebody. Mistake is not having 12 bodies and you're 16. This is what you'd like to do. This is what gets you, pardon my French, this is what gets you hard. This is what gets you your adrenaline rushing. You don't belong in society, dog. And that goes for the females and the males, because there's females out here killing too.
Yup.
There's females. It was a story a while ago. Group of girls beat up a crossing guard.
Yeah.
Broad daylight down north,
Right.
North Philadelphia. We all know North Philadelphia is North Philadelphia, but to beat up a what could the crossing guard have done? But try to keep the corner safe. And three women of not teenage years just beat her down. She don't even want to go outside no more. Bring me back to that thing of I used to go to work and I come home.
Right.
And I think that's just a waste of life.
Right.
You can't do that.
It's like 50 first dates.
So it has to get better. I pray it gets better. We pray it gets better. I know you people out there pray it gets better, but will it? Can it?
Right.
How will it?
Right. Well, like we said, it starts at home, and then from there, a lot of people want to blame the teachers, but the teachers can only do so much with your child. That's your child. You got to take responsibility for your child, your children, your household, your community. You got to be involved. You got to go out and volunteer. You got to go out and see things in order to be able to create things.
All right.
And put things in perspective. It's just any place can get it. It's not just Philly. We love our home. We don't want to sound like two old heads that's hating and nothing like that. What we doing is we just telling you what we see in our own lives and that you see every day. A lot of people won't stand up for it. They talk about it, but they won't do anything to stand up for it or against it. They'll be part of the problem, if you will. Part of the solution is for you to try to be involved as much as you can. Maybe you might have to take that little young boy, that young sis, and be like, yo, listen, check this out. I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but I can show you a little bit a better way of how to get it done. You know what I mean? And be invested, show you love. Because kids, like Mr. PDQ said, these kids know if you care about them. Or if it's something that you put on, like you just want to do it for the gram, for some likes. That ain't what this about. It's about loving these kids, being compassionate about these children, about life, about loving yourself. If you can't love yourself, you're not going to be able to love nobody else.
Now, there are people out there that have kids, right? That have had kids that will never. Their version of love is not. They show love different,
Right. In every household.
and you might view you might come across it and see it, be like, damn, they care about their kid. They care about their loved one. To them, based on their upbringing and how they were showed love, their love is 100% accurate. But we're looking like, yo, this is a road of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, because everybody don't have the same definition, the same example of love.
Right. Right.
You know, and the kid is just a sponge of that. So the kid is growing up faster than what they should be. Like they're not allowed to be a kid, or they're
Right.
given too much responsibility and freedom, and now they're doing everything.
Right.
I mean everything, and you like, damn,
How's this
they're
happening?
a little adult,
Right.
and they making adult decisions with a kid mind. So therefore, that's when you, and if the person that's raising them or the person they look up to doesn't have no patience, they're not gonna have no patience. If they have a crazy mouth, they're gonna have a crazy mouth.
Right.
If they don't police them and say be in a house at this time, this and this and that, then it's no boundaries. There's no like I do what I want.
Right.
We all had that friend that like, damn, you might be like 16 and you come home at 1 a.m.
Right.
Yeah. Like, damn.
Right. Yeah, I can't do that in my
If I
house.
came home 1 a.m,
Youngski,
I wouldn't. I'd be hurt.
get the strap. Not the gun, but the belt.
So it's the dynamic is so in different ways that it's kind of difficult to bring it all together when everybody's not living one accord, one road. There's a bunch of avenues and streets, and it's like a tree branch,
Right.
and you don't know where it's gonna go.
Right. One thing that we really, one thing I want to say and express is that we don't have all the answers. That's not what the show that we trying to say. What we trying to say is we trying to build towards a solution. You know, so when we look at things perspective in the perspective way, we trying to make sense of what's going on. How did it get to this point? You know, and that sense of community is what we lost as a race, as Black people. And I'm not saying that other races are perfect, but we can speak about what we see, who we are, what this skin color is.
Right.
And for that, it makes us, and we lived in this city, so we knew and saw things, and we see the direction that is going on, and we see where it came from. So we're not trying to tell you exactly what to do in your household, because you probably already know what you got to do. But what we want to do is we want to just give you our perspective on life and how things are being seen and how we being portrayed to the rest of the world. Because you back in the day, you used to go places, people be excited. Oh, you from Philly? Oh, da da da. You know, everything cool. But now it's like, oh, you from Philly? It's more like a question mark versus it being an excitement to meet somebody from Philly.
What you about?
We just
what you gonna do? You got a gun on you. You've been locked up. Like, damn, really? So yeah, it's it's sad. It's sad to turn the news on. It's sad to go on your phone and you see death.
Yeah,
like death. The end. There's no coming back. The end. But and innocent people are being killed
every day.
Or even if you're not innocent, but did it have to go to that extreme?
Right.
Could it have been a conversation? Could it have been a mediation situation? Could it have been you did something wrong, you go to jail, you pay your time, get out.
Right.
But even it's crazy. Even people go to jail, they get out and get killed on the jail ground.
The day they get out, mistaken identity
Not even
in a case.
not even mistaken. We know when he getting out, we gonna kill him when he get out.
Right. But there has been cases where cats was hanging out in front of the jail. Person get out, they get murdered. Come to find out, it ain't even the person that you really looking for. He ain't even the one. That's not the guy. So his celebration is I'm getting out, and then next thing you know, you possibly meeting your maker, trying to make sense about how did I get here. I don't know how it works, but that could be one of the things that happens. So it's like you said, the biggest thing is that it's sad. But what do we do? What do we do? We start by doing some of the things that we said, legislation, being involved, being a parent, going to the schools, PTA meetings, making sure that your child is involved in something positive, music, basketball, whatever it is, engineering, science projects, literature, any of those things. Those things are things that you need to have your kids involved in.
Right.
To try to do your best as a parent to keep them away from what the streets is offering. But at the same time, you got to let them know this is what the streets is offering. You got to let them know you can't shy away from them. Can't shade it away from them.
Right.
Can't shy away from that. This is actually going outside, right outside your front door every day.
Literally.
Every day. You're walking through a war zone every day.
Literally. It's a zoo. It's a crazy zoo out here in every inner city and suburbs throughout our country and the world. And you gotta know how to maneuver through the zoo.
Right.
If you're not a lion, don't go over there with the lions. If you're not a gorilla, don't go over there with the gorillas, because they're gonna do gorilla stuff. And you're not built to do gorilla stuff. No. Your limitations. Know where to allow your folks to go. Now, life is, you're going to do some stuff that just experimenting in life and all that. You're going to do it.
Right.
Sometimes you might get too deep and you can't get out.
Right.
Because by the time you try to get out, you got a body or something. You done rob somebody. Something that you're just not used to. It's not in your character. It's not your characteristic. But now it becomes you.
Right.
And now you're just like a statistic.
Right.
And statistics last forever. I'm going to say it again. Statistics last forever. Once you do something, aka a record, it's a record now. It's documented. And you might feel you getting away with it. You got away with it. Oh yeah, no, I never got caught. One day you will.
Right.
And you won't just have the law on your ass. You're going to have another family on your ass. So now you're looking over both shoulders. Living life looking over both shoulders is crazy. It's crazy. You setting yourself up for failure. We just saying, make better decisions. Think about what you want to do before you do it.
Right.
We all have breaking points. You need somebody to pull you back. Now, somebody maybe there's nobody around to pull you back. Whether it's a parent, a friend. I've had situations where I almost went off the deep end. He pulled me back. We don't gotta get into what that was, but he pulled me back. And I'm like, and I'm totally not that person. But life happens so fast.
Right.
However many snaps that was, somebody just got shot and killed.
Talk about it.
We gotta stop it. Like you said, we gotta vote effectively in masses. We gotta. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, well, go out there and stand on the corners and talk to the whomever, whether it's younger, older, whatever." That sounds great.
Yeah, it might
from a realistic standpoint, it sounds great. But that's not always the answer. Because you go out there and get yourself killed.
Right, these days.
Especially if you don't know them. Now, if you know them and they look up, they respect you enough to at least listen to you for that brief second. That brief second, they may not take heed to what you're saying right then and there, but it might hit them when they go out to do something crazy. Like, damn, I talked to so and so talk to me. Damn, they conscious.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have consciousness now.
Might make that change.
A lot of people do not have is no conscious. Is just no. The devil is busy. I'm not getting spiritual or nothing, but the devil is busy.
Every day. Every day.
We need more love. We need more unity. I ain't gonna say more. We need love. We need unity. We need togetherness. We need progression. Because the way it's going right now, just like the title of our show, life is going to be brief.
Ooh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we were going to talk about some other things tonight, but in relative to what we were talking about right now, you know, he's going to talk about the young boy who had the felines and went to school, and they was clowning him because they're not the in sneaker.
Right.
But the young boy got on live IG, whatever he got on, and started talking about his mind, about how positive his mind is and how he looked at that. And then in the comment section, people was clowning him, telling him to get his weight up. He a kid. Think about the amount
of
like 9 years old, and the amount of pressure that he probably felt after that. But at the same time, he felt strong enough to get on there, and not only strong enough, but courageous enough to get on there to even talk about that. And his friends might get a whiff of this video. So shout out to the young boy. We talk about that another time. We just want to give a little bit like to that. But anything else?
No, man. We kept it brief. This ain't the end of that. We got a lot of things, and I'm not going to say we got a lot of things and not mention it. We're going to definitely try to get the voting registration up. We definitely going to try to, involve ourselves in some community uplifting events.
Mm-hmm.
Not about making no bread, not no money grabs, but actually do stuff for the community, and because that's the reward, to see a community come together and grow,
right,
and use our resources to try to make things better. We're not going to do it overnight, but we might reach one person. It may not be 100 people at one time. It might reach one person, and that one person make a change, or just start doing something different. That's the rewarding part. So that's our pledge to Philadelphia. That's what we plan to.
That's right. That's right. So with that being said, like my man Chalk said, we kept it brief. Will we keep it brief? But sometimes we got to get into it like the night. And like we said, we don't have all the answers to the situation, but we're going to damn sure try. We're going to fight as much as we can and bring to you on this podcast some things that's relative to your life.
Yeah.
But what we need y'all to do on the serious side of things, comment, let us know. We get some text messages and things like that, and we are very grateful for the people who tune in and watch us and support us, because we do get a lot of support. But videos like this, if they get out there, at least somebody, like Chuck said, might see it. And this video right here might change their life, because the kids know when you're serious, and we damn sure serious about the kids, the old people, not old people, but the more mature, young folks, people of mid-age, babies, everybody is included in that. So again, tune in for the next episode of The Brief. Of course, we're going to bring it probably back to, how we do things. And until then, we out. Peace.